Hello, my Gemini risings, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is the Tarot Dragon, and on this channel, I do tarot readings on a variety of different topics whenever I feel called to do them. And in today's reading, we are going to be looking at what is coming next in love for Gemini risings. So if you don't have a Gemini rising, then you can check out my channel for the video for your rising sign. But if you have a Gemini rising, then yay, stick around, and we're going to see what's coming up next in love for you. Please remember as we go through this reading that if something doesn't resonate or if the entire thing doesn't resonate, then it's just not your message and it's okay to just discard it. Please don't try to make anything fit into your life if it doesn't feel right, because that would just be like, it wouldn't really make sense to do it that way because the reading wouldn't be for you anyway. So without further ado, we're going to get into this reading. And thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoy this and you get something out of it. And yeah, so how we're going to start this reading is just by looking at some cards to see how your energy is being represented at the time that you're finding this reading. This way, this can help you better see whether this truly is for you or not. And if this part doesn't resonate, then this likely is not your reading. So to see your energy at the time that you're finding this, we have Don Juan, which is funny. This is the third time this is coming out to represent a collective's energy at the time that they're finding the reading. That's crazy. So with this, we have the light attribute of spotlights your positive seductive qualities. The shadow is using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. And we also have, wow, the Ace of Cups. That's beautiful. And the moon. Wow, 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 wow. So with the moon here, the zodiac sign of Pisces could be of significance to you. Okay, wow. Interesting. Or maybe your moon sign could be of significance as well. So, so your current energy, wow, this is beautiful. You're really open to love at the time that you're finding this, which is really beautiful because with this moon here, it seems to me like, okay, I'm kind of getting two vibes. For some of you, you could have recently met somebody and you're dating and it's like really fun and flirty. It's not super serious yet, but you're just having the time of your life and you're just letting things sort of go, like flow, you know? And with this like fox looking thing here, this makes me think of somebody who's very charming, very witty, just super flirty and knows exactly what to say at any moment. Like you're a super fun person to be around. And I think if you are dating somebody and you're like getting to know them, going on dates, it's really fun. And I think that they're really enjoying it too. For the other group who isn't currently dating anybody, your energy is still very open to love. It's still very like, how do you say? Like you're open in your heart. You know, so if somebody were to ask you out today and you think that they're attractive and you're like, you would say yes. You're not going to be like, oh no, like I'm not ready for love right now. Like I think you're ready and you know that you're ready. And you're definitely like, people I think are really infatuated by you. Like, I don't want to say intimidated per se. I don't think that they're intimidated of you, but they're infatuated. They're like, whoa, like this person. It's making me think of Jack Harlow. I don't know how you feel about Jack Harlow. Oh my gosh, and he's a Pisces too. But if you've ever like seen an interview with him or like just seen him talking, he's very, very charming. At least I think he is. And so it's making me think of that, where it's like, you kind of have this effect on people where they're just like, oh my gosh, like what the heck? These Gemini risings, they're so attractive. And with this Ace of Cups, I think this is beautiful. Part of me feels like you see the world in a very romantic way. Like you're not one to be a pessimist. You're not one to be very closed off from connections, from being, like you're very open and you're curious about relationships. Like you're curious about like, what people, oh, there's a little fuzzy thing in the air. You're curious about what people have to offer you, whether you're going to have fun or not. Like you're just open. You don't place too much judgment or expectation on things. You really just trust that things can work out if you're open to it. Like this is a very intuitive card. It represents somebody who trusts themselves, who just goes with the flow, even when they aren't completely sure how things are going to unravel, which is why this made me think that for some of you, you could have recently started dating somebody. Like maybe you're just talking right now, and nothing is official yet. Like you're still getting to know them, but you're going with it. You're just seeing where it flows. You're having a good time, and you're like, yeah, let's just keep going. I do want to note though, with this shadow, using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. Oh, it's almost like day and night, like light and shadow. And with the moon can sometimes being associated with betrayal or hidden agendas. I do think that for some of you, maybe you want to consider if you do have a hidden agenda, right? And what is that? The game of chess could also be significant. This looks like a rook in chess and how it only goes back and forth. Or it can go up and down or side to side, but it doesn't go like diagonally or anything like that. Which makes me think like maybe you and another person are moving at the same pace, perhaps. But yeah, if you might want to, consider what your intentions are with people. I don't really feel like you have negative intentions. I think that in this context, the moon is really coming through just to say that you're open and you're allowing yourself to have fun and go on dates and be romantic with people and be flirty with people without how do I say, like, without exactly knowing whether this is going to be like your spouse or not. I don't feel any negative agenda from you. You feel very light, very fun, very sweet as well, and very charming. Interesting. Okay, so that's really all I'm getting for this energy. It feels very lovey-dovey. I really like that for you. So beautiful current energy. So now we're going to look at what's actually coming next for you. So this first card here is going to represent how you are being represented in this next phase of your love life. So for that, we have the Liberator. This always gives me Aquarius energy, so that could be a significant sign for you. But the light attributes are freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns, and the shadow is imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. We also have the Covenant card with Sacred Contract. A lot of blue here. Wow, interesting. We have All Tied Up. Interesting. All Tied Up and the Liberator. Warrior Woman, have you answered your deepest calling? Oh my gosh, I'm getting chills. Strange Valentine, love is strange. I kind of want to put this right here. And then we have Lantern Fairy, a clear solution. This makes me think of Virgo because this looks like the Hermit to me. Funny, this also reminds me of Aquarius. So I'm actually going to put these here. I changed my mind. Sorry, I lied to you. Oh my God. Okay. So what do we have here? Can you see? You can't even see all the cards. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Let's move these up maybe and then do it like this. Can you see all the cards? No. Yes, you can. All right. So what's coming next in love for you? So this card here always makes me think of, in any context, it makes me think of like destiny, fate, something that's, I know destiny and fate are different, but like it makes me think of like something that you're meant to experience in this life. And in this context makes me think of like a soulmate or a karmic relationship or something. Interesting. Okay, now this is all coming together now that I said that. You know what? What's next in love is you might meet somebody who's really out of, like really, how do I say this? Okay, for lack of better words, the word will come to me, but for now, this person seems random. It seems almost like they're not your usual type. That's what it is. Like, I think you have a type. You have people, like a certain kind of person that you tend to go for, but something is changing where someone else has caught your eye and you're interested, you're curious about them, and you can't help but feel drawn to them. It's like you're literally two different, like from two completely different worlds. You might literally be from the same exact like background or something, but it's almost like they're just not who you typically would date. But because you're so open and you're curious, like you're drawn to them and you're like, okay, why not see where this goes? And what's interesting is for some of you, I also get this vibe that like you're attracted to somebody of a gender that you didn't know you were attracted to. So like maybe you thought you were straight, but then now you're attracted to somebody of the same gender and you're like, what's going on here? And I also feel like it could be either one of those. I'm kind of feeling them both strongly. Either way though, there's a core message here of like, for either situation, whether this is like just someone who's out of your typical type, or if this is like literally like you're attracted to somebody of a different gender, or the same gender, for some reason there's almost a bit of backlash that you're receiving from people for dating this person, for being interested in this person. And I think you're kind of fighting yourself too in some ways, because you're like, oh wait, I don't know, like, should I be dating this person? Is this a bad idea? Is this a red flag? Am I like, And so like if this is somebody who you just typically don't date, like for example, they're just not your type, maybe like your friends are like, oh, this person's not good enough for you, or maybe your friends are like, oh, they're kind of weird, or oh, they're this, they're that, and so you're thinking like, oh, maybe we're not a good match, or maybe I shouldn't be with this person, or maybe it's long distance, and so you're wondering like, maybe this is a bad idea, maybe I'm setting myself up for failure. And then for the other group where it's like something related to like gender and sexuality, the backlash would probably be something like homophobia, and maybe internalized homophobia as well, because we do have here freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs. But what I see is like, you can't help but be drawn to this person. Like you like them and you're curious about them and you want to explore. And perhaps this energy is already present here in your current energy, and current meaning whenever you're watching this. And maybe that's why I felt like maybe there's a hidden agenda, but it's not malicious. So maybe that's kind of what this is like, you're just kind of trusting where this goes, but you're not really, you're not sure. So maybe, for example, like let's say you're a guy and you've never been on a date with a guy, but you met somebody and you're like, this is interesting, like I kind of like them. You're kind of like going with it, but you're not exactly sure where it's going to lead. And perhaps that's why the hidden agendas thing came out, or private agendas, because maybe the other person doesn't know that you've never been on a date with a guy before. They don't know that you're still exploring things, that kind of thing, right? Wait, this is 5, 6, 7, and then 9. Okay, sorry, I just had to do the math real quick. But yeah, but you are definitely interested in somebody. It's making me think, okay, so this card, this is really random, but this person on this card always reminds me of Bella Hadid. And a relationship that I could also give you that to me was really random was like Bella Hadid and The Weeknd. A lot of people really shipped them together. We're like, oh, they're so cute, and they were cute, right? They're no longer together, of course, but it could be that vibe as well, where it's like you just have very different careers, very different lifestyles, different vibes, but you mesh well. And so what you're currently having to deal with, or I guess during this next phase, what you're dealing with is like, do I explore this? Do I see where it goes? Or do I listen to my friends, my family, my own, internal fears, and just kind of cut this connection off? But I feel like whatever this is, whoever this is, like either this person or this kind of person is someone you're meant to learn a lot from. That doesn't mean that it's a connection that's gonna lead to heartbreak. That might not be it. It could simply mean that you're discovering, oh, I actually do like guys, or actually do like girls, I actually do like non-binary folks, whatever. Might be, or it might be, oh, actually, like my type isn't so rigid. I actually do like people who look like this, or who have this kind of job, or whatever, whatever the details are. There's this feeling of your interests, your attractions are expanding. You're realizing like, oh, I like more than just these kinds of people. But there's like that pushback from people. And again, the pushback is different depending on the context, but you feel it. And so you're having to wonder and ask yourself, like, is this worth it? If I lose friends or connections with family because I date this person, is that worth it? You might also there might also be a fear of like how people are going to perceive you. And with this lantern fairy, a clear solution, the fact that it is a lantern and they're kind of walking in the dark, it makes me wonder if part of your solution at this time might be to keep things quiet, because you're still figuring out like maybe you're dating somebody in secret, or maybe like you're actually committed to one another, but you're keeping it very low key, very private. You're not posting about each other on social media, that kind of thing, because you feel like that's the only way that your connection can thrive, is if you keep it to yourselves. But I also feel like you're a fierce person. With the Liberator and with Warrior Woman, you don't have to be a woman for that card to be like your energy, by the way, but I feel like you are fierce. You might not see yourself that way all the time, and maybe in general you aren't very like bold. But when it comes to stuff like this, like especially at this time, whenever you're finding this, I feel like you're willing to fight for this connection. You're willing to fight for yourself. Because you feel like a deep sense of being drawn to this person. Like this is not, I can't tell you whether you're going to be with this person for the rest of your life or anything like that. But what I do know is that whoever this person is, it's like awakening something within you where you're like, oh my gosh, like maybe there's more to me than I thought, or maybe I was really limiting myself before, or maybe these feelings deserve to be explored. But you're just having to fight yourself and fight other people's perceptions or other people's mean words to decide whether this is for you. And the fact that this contract is almost blank, well, it's not almost blank, it is, it just says contract. Now I'm wondering too, like, maybe this is about getting married. We have the Liberator and Covenant. Oh, actually, okay, maybe this, okay. So there was something that popped into my head a couple, like maybe a minute ago, but I didn't say it because I wasn't sure if it was just my brain or if it was like an actual message for you, but I think it is, because now that I'm thinking about marriage and Liberator, I'm going to say this. You know, not all the cards in this deck have two people on them. Some of them only have one, hence the Liberator, only one card, or one person on the card, but yours has two for your current energy, which makes me wonder, maybe you are currently in a very committed relationship and you are planning to leave this person, or maybe you've already left. For some of you, it could be a divorce. And I'm thinking sacred contract is making me think of like marriage. You know how like when you get married, at least in the US, like you have to like register with the state, I guess, to get like your marriage license or whatever. But then also you can get married in a church or other religious places if you want to get, you know, officiated there as well. Yeah, even this is number 7, which is like the 7th house, which is about really long-term relationships, partnerships, could be a business partnership too. But I feel like maybe you're leaving a relationship this is only for some of you, because I doubt everybody here is married, but then again, who knows? Some of you could have been either married or in a committed relationship and it has ended now and you're just open to love. Like you're not really waiting around, like you're curious. Maybe that's why people are pushing back and being like, whoa, I don't know if you're ready for this. That I think there's something else I was gonna say, but I forgot. But yeah, marriage could be a significant thing here too. There could be people saying like you're not ready to get married, or maybe you should think this through first. You know, it's like people are trying to like either stop this marriage completely, or they are wanting to have you think about it more before you make such a big commitment. But for you, like you're thinking like, but I just love this person, I'm happy, or I really like this person, I want to explore things. Like you're not really wanting to wait around. You're not wanting, like, you don't want to make a mistake, that's for sure. But I think you're just so curious and you're so open and you're trusting yourself that you're trusting if you feel drawn to this person, there's a reason why. I'm not going to read it to you, but I'm going to show you the message on this card for number 7 in case you want to read it for yourself. So this is so here's the first part. I hope you can see that. I think it's there, and here's the second part if you want to read it, and don't judge my nails. In case there's anything there for you that could help you in terms of, I feel called to point out images. So we have this here, this like I don't know what this is called, I'm forgetting, but this like the wooden thing with the flame. We have a lantern, a sword, this red feather. This ink feels significant. There's also vine here. This looks like a stingray, but I think it's a moth, like a glowing moth. I don't know what the hell a stingray looks like, actually, now that I think about it. Oh, that's embarrassing, but that can be significant. Or walruses. And also this like white thing around this heart feels important. It reminds me of a doily. Yeah. The movie, what movie is it? Oh my goodness, I think Wes Anderson directed it. It's, oh my, I don't know what it's called. Moonlight or Midnight Mountain, or it's the one with the little girl and the little boy, and they go missing, I think, but then they end up like falling in love. I never actually watched the whole thing, I don't think. Ariana Grande and Mac Miller dressed up as the characters one year for Halloween, if that helps. I don't know what the movie's called. I'm forgetting the name. Moonlight or Moon Fudge. I don't know, but that movie could be significant. Anyway, okay, so now let's get into more tarot cards and see, let's get some more information about this. I want to see like more details. And hopefully this can help kind of, because I gave a lot of different scenarios here because I feel like there's a lot that could be happening. The core element that I see for all of you, if this has resonated in some way, I think the core part is that you are, regardless of what the past is, at the time that you're finding this, what's next is a new relationship or like a new, like dating and stuff, or marriage, like some sort of newness within like literally dating. And there's pushback from the people around you and from yourself because there's this fear of like, should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? Am I ready? Am I not ready? That kind of thing. But let's get more details, Spirit. What's next for Gemini risings in love? Can I get some more information, some more details, please, Spirit guides? We have the Hermit. What did I say? I'm going to put these back actually because I don't want it to be too chaotic. We have the Hermit. What else? What else is next, Spirit guides, for Gemini risings? The Nine of Wands. Ugh. Okay. Not, sorry. I said that about the imagery, not about the meaning. We have the Tower. What's next in love for Gemini rising, Spirit? The Nine of Swords. A lot of, wow, 999. A lot of nines. Okay, the Knight of Wands, and then let's get one more, Spirit. What's next in love for Gemini? Okay, the Five of Swords, and on the back of the deck we have the Seven of Wands. Sorry that these cards are not like, oh my, are not straight. Sorry, neither am I. All right, so if you're cringing at the fact that I'm bending these cards, don't judge me, okay? It's my channel. So, all right, what is next in love for you? I want to first point out some zodiac signs that I'm seeing here. With all these damn nines, Sagittarius could be a significant sign for you. Sagittarius season could also be significant because it's the 9th sign. With the Hermit, we have Virgo, and with the Tower, we have the planet Mars, which rules Aries and Scorpio. So those signs could be of significance. Also with the Knight of Wands, this could be like just the fire signs in general, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Okay. So what I'm seeing next for you. So, okay. What is coming next is you're going to have to make peace with something in your life. I'm surprised Judgment didn't come out. But I definitely feel like this makes a lot of sense, but I feel like you have already been through some sort of significant healing period in your life. You probably can identify it. Like if I say, oh, like, you know, like when your healing period, like there might be a specific time frame where you were very dedicated towards yourself. Maybe you were spending more time by yourself. Just maybe it was after a breakup or after maybe losing a job, or there was like a significant, maybe a change in your life with this Tower here, something that fell apart that sent you into like an isolation period. Not like a bad isolation period, but isolation where you really got to know yourself, you got to heal, you got to grieve, and I think you really unpacked a lot. And I think that's why your current energy, you know, at the time that you're watching this, felt so light and felt so open. It's because you're getting yourself out there again. Even though you know that there are people who might be hunting you, you know that there are, you know, wolves in sheep's clothing around you that might not want the best for you, you are still navigating your life and being open. And I actually feel like part of what had to happen in this healing period was with all these graves here, it's making me think that you had to make peace with what was lost in your life, what ended in your life. You had to accept, oh my goodness. Okay, I know this is a stretch. Don't, before I know it is, but I'm going to put something out. Remember how I was talking about the rooks here? And this, when this top part of the Tower falls off, it kind of looks like the top. Very slightly. This makes me think almost like part of the Tower fell off, but you're like fixing it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the person that you're talking to right now has a similar past or has also been through a lot of shit in their life, like a lot. And maybe people around you are being like, oh, that's a, you know, red flag, or maybe you should you know, talk to somebody or date somebody who hasn't been through X, Y, and Z. For example, this person might have a record, like a prison record or something, or maybe they dropped out of college, or maybe they have like maybe they grew up in a really you know, toxic or maybe abusive family or something, or like there could have been a lot that happened in this person's life, and the people around you were like, oh, like it's they might want you to talk to somebody who hasn't been through so much, or who doesn't have that experience, or who doesn't have a record, or whatever it might be. That's very specific. I know that won't be for all of you, but that could, for some of you, it could be that, you know, it could be like family and friends stereotyping this person, and being like, oh, well, if this happened to them, then they're probably going to be this kind of person, or they're going to be this kind of partner, this kind of parent. But yeah, I feel like that needs to be said. So yes, you have had to make peace with a lot. And perhaps people too maybe see you as a bit wounded. They see you as kind of weak, and they feel like they need to protect you. Like, and by people, I mean your friends or family. Even if you're like a grown adult, like there might be people who just see you like their baby and they want to keep you safe. And so they might be just saying these things to make sure that you don't get hurt again. But I don't think, like, what they don't realize is you have healed so fucking much. You've been through so much. You've had to make peace with so many endings, with so much loss, with so much betrayal. And it was not easy. By any means, it was not easy. I think you were literally fighting for your life. Like, I think you've, okay, I don't know why I said literally. Well, you could be literally fighting for your life, and you could have been too in the past, but I think there was just a lot that happened that you had to heal from. So you're a warrior for sure. You've learned a lot, and you know yourself very deeply now. And I think that what's going to be happening in this next phase is like, it's almost like you wanting to leave the nest, and the people in your life being like, no, you know, maybe wait a second, think this through, don't do this yet, don't make this choice yet. And I'm not saying they're wrong, but I'm also not saying that they're right, because I don't know. I'm getting so many scenarios here for you that I don't know your specific situation. So for some of you, perhaps your family and friends are right, maybe whatever the context is, and for others, they're wrong. And I think it really depends on the situation. It depends on what they're saying. It depends on you. It depends on the person that you're with. There's so much that goes into consideration here. But one thing that I do sense with this Knight of Wands and Seven of Wands is you're not playing no damn games. You're not letting people stop you from being open to love, probably because you know that you can handle anything that comes your way, especially emotionally and mentally. You have really worked so hard on your self-worth, on your self-love. I think you love yourself so much now that when there are red flags, you know, you identify them and you walk away. You're able to set boundaries now. You're not allowing people to destroy you or take from you without giving you anything in return. You can protect yourself a lot better now than you could before. And I think that's why you're so comfortable being out and dating people and being open to love, because you know that even if, like, you know, you get your heart broken, or if you don't enjoy the person that you're on a date with, like, there's this feeling of like, I'll be fine. Like, I can get through this. I can get through anything. But I also feel like you're just kind of high on life right now, and you're not allowing people to bring you down. But it's hard though. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard, because with the Knight of Wands being sandwiched between the Nine of Swords and the Five of Swords, it seems like both internally and externally there's a lot of fuckery. There's a lot of people outside of you, it's almost giving me the vibe of like, these people think they know more than you. They think they know you and your situation better than you do. And again, take this with a grain of salt, right? Because one, they can't know you better than you, because you're the one living your own life. But also, sometimes we have blind spots. Sometimes we have areas of our life that we can't see clearly because we are the one living it. But the people around us maybe can see something that we can't, right? So it's kind of yes and no, yeah? With this Nine of Swords, internally, there's also anxiety with you. There's also a fear with you. And even with the Seven of Wands, I think it might not be super obvious to you, but with this Nine of Swords and with this card here, especially the imagery, maybe they almost look similar, but I think that you're still, part of you is still fighting off memories from the past. This is making me think of ghosts, these little white beings, these gray things. It's like ghosts to me. And I think especially at nighttime, you might have really like scary dreams sometimes, or you might dream about people from your past. But I also feel like just in general, you have a fear that you're going to be hurt or betrayed the way that you were before. And this stops you sometimes from making choices that you know you're ready to make because you're so close to the ground. You see this person's flying? It's making me think of this card. There's a card in this deck called, I think it's called Eye of the Eagle. And it talks about, you know, how eagles, when they fly super high, they're able to see, like if you're an eagle and you're literally walking on the ground, you're not going to be able to see the entire landscape and which animals are there for you to eat. But if you're flying high, you can see everything, right? And so it's basically with this person flying here on what looks like a goose, I don't know, a duck, they're able to see the whole landscape. And so then they can decide where they want to swoop down, where they're ready to lay down and rest. And most of the time I think you're up here, but I think a part of you, especially at night, maybe after you've had a long day of talking to people, of talking to friends, of being around your family, maybe after going on a date, at night when you're ready to go to bed, there's this feeling of you're back on the ground now and you lose perspective sometimes. I think you really lose that perspective. And I guess the question for you, though, not necessarily for you, but a question I want to put out there, I'm not sure where this is going to take me, is like, what's enough for you? Because with these leaves here, this is making me think of fall, right? It's making me think of harvest season. And these two people here, they look like children. They have these little lettuce, like a cabbage thing, a head of lettuce and some carrots. And this person here it seems like to them, what these children have brought is not enough. But with these rabbits here, this makes me think of, you know, something moving very quickly, of luckiness. And so I wonder, what would be enough for you? What is something you're willing to live with? Whether this be internally, like a decision that you're making, or maybe this is about like a partner, you know, what is going to meet your needs? What's going to leave you feeling satisfied, right? It's kind of like money. I'm not saying you think of people like money as in place value on them in that way, but I'm going to give you the analogy of money, right? Where like, you know, in most places in the country that I live in, it's really hard to get by on like $1,000 a month. That's simply not enough. But maybe with, let's say, $5,000 a month, in most places, you probably could live very comfortably, like very, very comfortably. If you had unlimited money, that'd be great, but you could be satisfied and fulfilled and comfortable with $5,000 a month. Maybe even $4,000, maybe even $3,000, depending on where you live, right? It's kind of like, ask yourself, what is your bare minimum, or not even your bare minimum, what is your level of comfortability, and how can you maintain that? Because especially in the context of the Five of Swords, I wonder if this is about how people are talking to you and treating you, whether this be the person you're talking to, the person you're dating, the person you're about to marry, or your friends and family. Because if you're telling people, and again, I'm not telling you this like you're right or that you're wrong, or that your people around you are right or wrong. I'm just kind of putting this out there to get you thinking and kind of saying what I'm feeling here. If you're really, like, let's use the example of, well, I might lose some subscribers for this, but I don't care. If you're one of the people who resonated with what I said earlier about you realizing that you're attracted to a gender that you didn't know you were attracted to, like you're discovering something about your sexuality basically, or maybe about your own gender identity, who knows. If the people around you, if their opinions, the things that they're saying, the way that they are talking to you is very degrading, or if they're saying that they're never going to speak to you again if you date this person, or that you're, you know, bad, or whatever it is, that's, is that having this person in your life, or how do I say this? Like, is this the kind of person that you want to keep in your life, or does your baseline for your existence mean that the people in your life need to respect you, right? Because not everybody cares if people respect them. Like, some people are okay with, like, I don't know how to explain that. It's kind of like how are people treating you, the people around you? How are they talking to you about this new person? How are they talking to you about this new choice that you're wanting to make? Are they uplifting you? Are they hearing you out? Are they simply stereotyping? Are they judging? Are they being really disrespectful and mean? What are they saying, and what are you willing to live with, basically, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting with that Five of Swords. Like, what would be enough for you? Is it enough if your parents invite you and your partner over for dinner, and just keep things cordial but never really establish a deep connection with you and this partner when you stay together? Or is enough is what's enough for you? What's that baseline for you? Is that you, or is that your parents like really welcoming in this partner into your life, you know? Does that, I hope that makes sense. Like, what is your baseline? And I think in general, though, I mean, looking at the people on these cards, this Knight of Wands is clearly the most happy, you know? And even comparing the Seven of Wands, like this Nine of Wands person is the most happy. Let me hold these up for you so you can really see what I mean. In the Nine of Wands, this person's like smiling, or the Knight of Wands, sorry. But in these cards, everybody is not happy. And it makes sense when you think about what these cards mean. But again, with that, the imagery of this person flying high, I think that when you give yourself perspective and you kind of just take everything with a grain of salt and you're open to yourself, open to new ideas, but also setting boundaries with people, you are going to feel the most happy. You're going to feel the most uplifted. Like, if you know that something is right for you and you feel like you're making a good decision for you, it feels right, then it's right, you know? Because again, you're the one living your life. And there's so many different situations here. I don't really sense that any of you are in like really toxic relationships or relationships that are hurting you or hurting the other person. It really just seems like the people around you are trying to protect you from something, or the people around you just disagree with what you're doing because they disagree with it, you know, like they just don't think it's right. But I don't think that for any of you, you're in a bad situation. What I'm seeing here is simply like, this seems like the past energy. This seems like what you had experienced in the past, which was really challenging, and you are really building yourself back up. And now that you're at a place where you're strong, where you're feeling good about yourself, you're feeling confident, it seems, and now that you're feeling like you can make these choices for yourself, it seems like people are interfering and being like, oh, I don't know if you're ready for that yet, right? Interesting, very interesting. So we're going to finish off this reading by looking at one card to see a piece of advice from Spirit. So Spirit, what advice do you have for Gemini risings regarding love? What advice do you have for Gemini risings regarding love? Shadow with darkness. Oh, interesting. Okay. So with this card here, I think I'm going to be reading from the booklet as well, but I first want to say that, you know, what's in your shadow, and here I don't necessarily think that this is talking about like your shadow self. I'm getting this more of like your hidden self, the part of you that you keep to yourself, that you keep hidden, that, well, I guess that is kind of like your shadow self, but really your shadow self is more like your subconscious self, especially the part of you that's really wounded. But here, I think these are the parts of you that you know damn well exist, but you are keeping them to yourself. You're keeping them private. But the thing is that what you keep in the shadows can only stay hidden for so long. And the more that you shine bright, the more that your shadow becomes illuminated, right? And I think that this is your guide saying, like, that's probably why some of this energy is coming out with this anxiety, this fear. The more that you put yourself out there, the more that you expose yourself to more love, to more happiness, to more joy, the more that what was hidden is going to come out, the more that your triggers are going to show, the more that your insecurities are going to show. But that's okay, because you can learn to heal those things, and you can learn to love yourself regardless of what insecurities that you have, yeah? It's going to come out one way or another. And I think that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody else is going to know, but rather it's going to become into your own consciousness, your own awareness sooner or later. The more that you explore, the more that you're open to life. Like, you can try to hide your, maybe you have an insecurity about your intelligence. Like, you can try to hide that as much as you want to, or try to ignore it. But, maybe you're forced to do a presentation in one of your classes, and now that insecurity is gonna show, or you're gonna feel it, right? And you're gonna have to deal with it. And I think this is also about the aspects of yourself that you keep hidden. Are you willing to live a life like that? Is that okay with you? Or do you want to show those parts of yourself to the world, to your friends and family, to your partner? This is definitely a deep question, because, especially for those folks who are experiencing new things with their sexuality or their gender, it's not always safe to be, people aren't always the most accepting, and sometimes it can be unsafe to be open with who you are, because people are wild and they act in very horrible, horrible ways to people who are in the LGBTQ+ community. And so like there's no shame in having to keep things to yourself. There's no shame in that like whatsoever. And I guess this is more so like about you, like what is it going to be for you? Do you want to keep this to yourself for a little bit? Do you want to be open? Do you want to tell friends and family, like with whatever it is? It doesn't have to be about your sexuality or your gender. It could be about really anything. You know, maybe for some of you, you're not used to speaking up and telling your friends or telling your family like, hey, I don't care what you think about this person, I'm interested. I did want to finish off by just reading to you what the shadow card says, because it might be useful for you. So what do we have here? Is this shadow? No. Okay. Lurking in the depths of your subconscious are aspects of your humanness that are chained tightly for fear that anyone or all would escape and somehow lead to, oh my God, I'm sorry, that was terrible. Okay. Lurking in the depths of your subconscious are aspects of your humanness that are chained tightly for fear that anyone or all would escape and somehow lead to harm and destruction for yourself or others. The paradox is that the more you attempt to remain unaware, the more you suppress and harbor those traits wrapped in the dark cloth of your judgments, imprisoned with the shackles of shame and distrust, the more power they hold over you. Bringing shadows to the light of awareness allows you to dissipate your fear and shame and accept more of what you're made of. It's time to bring out at least one troublesome dark shadow and one suppressed light shadow, ones that have hinted to their presence and come into your consciousness in some way, and release your fear and welcome them. Do so by allowing their expression through singing, writing, playing music, dancing, making a work of art, or practicing any other form of creative expression. Yeah. Soon after trying these kinds of activities and experiencing no harm, you'll find it easier to more deeply accept all of you. Yeah, so I definitely agree. I liked what it said about, you know, really exploring one light aspect and one shadow aspect, and perhaps seeing like one part of you and seeing the pros and cons, the light and the shadow of it, because I think that'll also help you gain perspective. But yeah, so Gemini risings, thank you so much for watching this reading with me, and I hope that you were able to find something here that resonated with you, but if not, that's okay too. If you enjoyed this reading and you want to support me in any way, I would be so grateful. I would really appreciate a like on this video, a comment down below telling me how it resonated, or subscribing to my channel if you want to see more readings from me in the future. And if you have any ideas for future readings, please be sure to let me know in the comment section down below as well. So thank you so much again, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, etc. And I hope to see you again here soon. Bye!